What's up, guys? Finally, the 1,000 subscribers video special. This is long overdue. If you've seen my post about why this video has been delayed so much, because I swear it's been a month, if not more, since we hit 1,000 subscribers. Shout out to you guys, man. Shout out to you guys. But yeah, no, the video is finally here. Yeah, I didn't like all the videos that I shot before this, and hopefully this will be the one finally. But yeah, I have a good feeling that this is going to be the one. But yeah, this is going to be hot takes that you guys have given me, a couple questions here and there, but it's predominantly hot takes. First hot take is that Days Before Rodeo is the single best mixtape of all time. And it's no surprise this is coming from you, because obviously you are literally the biggest Travis fan of all time. Shout out to you, man, for your support, your consistency within the community. But this is not a bad take, honestly. Days Before Rodeo is up there. It's a classic mixtape, great mixtape, all-time mixtape, but I wouldn't have it as the single best in my books. And there is a question that's going to come up about what is the best, or what is my top 5 mixtapes of all time. And actually, let's just pivot to that. The next hot take is going to be, what are my top 5 all-time mixtapes? This was a tough one. But the 5 that I always reference when I speak about all-time mixtapes: Friday Night Lights, 1999, Live Love ASAP, The Drought 3 by Lil Wayne, and So Far Gone. Not sure what order. That's probably the order that I would go with, honestly. And then some honorable mentions will include 56 Nights and Monster by Future, Acid Rap by Chance the Rapper, and gotta throw in some 50 Cent in there. So I'm gonna say 50 Cent is the Future. He has quite a few all-time mixtapes, but that's the one I'll throw in there. But those are my all-time mixtapes. And then obviously I think I would throw in Days Before Rodeo within that vicinity. But to say it's the single best mixtape, probably not in my books. But it's not a bad take whatsoever. And then the next question is, what are some of my favorite musicians and genres outside of rap? I'm gonna preface this by saying in 2025, my playlist is predominantly rap. When I say predominantly, it's 99.99%. That's an admission on my side. I've honestly, throughout the years, I've listened to quite a few genres throughout the years. I'm not one-dimensional like that. But there's no genre that really hits my soul like rap. But amongst the genres that I do listen to outside of rap every now and then would include your R&B and soul. And I tapped into some EDM at some point. This was back when Martin Garrix dropped Animals. I can't remember exactly the year, but that year that he dropped Animals, I was into a lot of EDM, specifically Martin Garrix. That was a time for me. I did have a little phase of EDM. And then another genre, well, it's not really a genre, but for someone who's played FIFA, it's my favorite game of all time. I'm not sure how you classify FIFA music. I guess you classify it as pop, like your artists or your songs such as Your Love Me Again, the Big Bangs of this world, the Aviciis of this world, Palm Trees, I forgot the artist there. But that ilk of music, FIFA music, I guess, but it's like pop, that pop sound. I did tap into that a lot, especially when I would play FIFA back in my childhood. Those would be the type of songs that I would listen to. But yeah, and when it comes to R&B and soul, Giveon, Sade, Georgia Smith are some of the artists that I enjoy. I had a phase where I listened to a lot of Amy Winehouse as well, Whitney Houston, Luther Vandross. Well, that's due to my mother as well. But in 2025, my playlist is predominantly rap. That I can't cap. I tried to tap into some Frank Ocean at some point. Didn't really enjoy his music. And well, I didn't enjoy it as much as other people do. He's a generational artist, that's without a doubt. I had a Michael Jackson phase at some point as well. I think back in this would have been in the 6th, 7th grade, back in 2010, 2011. But yeah, those are some of the artists, some of the genres that I've listened to throughout the years. But in 2025, it's predominantly rap. But that's not to say that going forward, I won't try to tap back into R&B and soul and other genres and really try to fall in love with it. But I've tried, man. But other genres just don't hit my soul just like rap does. But yeah, that is the answer to that. And then the next one, Good Kid, Mad City is better than Illmatic. This one is not really even a hot take for me. Well, okay, it is a hot take. Whoa, let me not say that. But it's not a crazy take in my books. Other people would probably read this and say this is absolutely blasphemous. But for me, if you've seen my top 10 albums or rap albums of all time, Good Kid, Mad City is my number 2. And I've spoken about this in one of my other long forms as to how I feel about Good Kid, Mad City and just how it's literally the modern day Illmatic in my books. So that is not really a hot take. If you were to tell me that, I wouldn't even try to fight you. I do think there is a bit of a gap between Good Kid, Mad City and Illmatic, but this is not really a hot take for me. Then the next one is, have I ever listened to an artist and didn't like him? I'm going to say him or her, but him at first, then revisited and loved. There are two that I'm going to name here that I could really think of at the top of my head. There probably are more, but the second one might shock people. But the first one, I think a lot of people, when they start getting into this person's music, they may not like him at first, but I think you give him a few more chances, you will love him if you appreciate lyrical rap and just that elite lyricism. But my first one, the one that is not really shocking, is MF Doom. Someone tried to put me onto MF Doom some years back, and at the time, I just didn't enjoy it. I started with Mad Villainy, funny enough, and I think I got through like 3 tracks before switching it off. I'm not gonna lie. And then maybe a few years later, because when I really got into MF Doom like that, it had to have been around COVID, which was 2020, 2021. That's when I tapped back into MF Doom, and he's since, I'm not gonna say he's one of my favorites, he's definitely one of my favorites, but I've enjoyed a lot of his music. Mad Villainy, Mouse and the Mask is the 2 projects that I really go back to when it comes to MF Doom. But yeah, he's and Food, how you say that? But yeah, MF Doom is definitely someone that I didn't like at first at all. I actually hated his music, and then I've come back to actually love his music. Then the second one, the one that's shocking, he's one of my favorite rappers today, Nas. Nas is someone I tapped into very early, or I initially tapped into early, like I'm talking high school early. And because it was around the time that I tapped into Jay-Z as well, and then I tapped into Nas because obviously the rivalry of Nas and Jay, and I just didn't like his music. Jay was someone that I tapped into and I loved immediately because compared to Nas, he's a lot more commercially appealing, he has a lot more commercial appealing music, and I tapped into his like radio hits as well, Jay. Then I tried to tap into Nas, and I started with Illmatic, and when I say I got through the first 3 songs, which obviously New York State of Mind is in there, I didn't enjoy it. But years later, this must have been probably first year in varsity, so around 2017, that is when I tapped back into Nas, gave him a chance. I'm like, no, I've been sleeping here. So that's someone that I literally hated at first, and I've come to love. He's literally in my top 10 favorite rappers of all time. But yeah, those are 2 people that I've tapped into initially, didn't really love, and now I love, like especially Nas. Yeah, those are definitely 2 people. Then the next hot take I see here is Marshall Mathers LP and Illmatic are the best rap albums of all time. I'm not sure if you were trolling with this comment or you're actually serious that this is a hot take, but this is not a hot take at all, especially Illmatic. I have Marshall Mathers LP in my top 10. I think Illmatic is the greatest rap album of all time. You're probably trolling, but yeah, that's definitely not a hot take. Then the next one is, do I like Missy Elliott? Look, I've never tapped into solo Missy Elliott for sure. I've never tapped into. I've heard a couple tracks here and there, but in terms of digging into a discography like that, I haven't yet. But I can admire that I can admit that she's one of the all-time female MCs and just one of the all-time MCs as well. I've listened to a few features, and every single feature that I've heard of her, elite. She's a great MC, but I haven't tapped into her solo discography. So to answer you, do I like Missy Elliott from what I've heard? Yeah, I think she's a solid MC, definitely one of the greatest to ever do it, but I just haven't tapped into a solo discography as of yet. But I think I will definitely tap into solo Missy Elliott at some point. And then the next one is Juice WRLD has a better legacy than DMX. I gotta respect your agenda for DMX. You've been extremely consistent. I don't know what DMX did to you or what he said or did to you. Rest in peace to DMX, man. But yeah, I'm not going to even entertain this hot take. But your agenda has to agenda, I guess. But yeah, I'm not going to even comment on this. And another person that I haven't even tapped into like that is Juice WRLD. I've heard a few songs here and there, but it's just never been someone that I've tapped into really. Including X. Juice WRLD and X are 2 rappers, rest in peace to both their souls, but 2 rappers I just could not get into. Heard a few tracks from both of them. It just wasn't my thing. But, you know, I'm not going to speak on it. I definitely don't agree. But, hey, man. Then the next one is Kanye West is the greatest of all time for discography. Another cold take. I think Kanye West has the greatest discography in rap and one of, if not the greatest discography in music in general. But I'm going to say one of in terms of music because obviously I have no knowledge. I can't speak on the greater discographies of music like that. I know who are the greats out there, like your Michael Jacksons, the Beatles, the Princes of this world. But to say definitely that he has the greatest discography in music, from what I've been exposed to, I definitely think he has a top 2, top 3 discography in music in general. But in terms of rap, oh yeah, for sure. But if we're talking about rapping, just rapping ability, MC-ship, there's quite a few people that I'll put ahead of him. But you did specify that it's discography, of which I agree for sure. Then the next one is that Kim is better than Stan. Look, while I don't agree with it, I definitely don't agree that Kim is better than Stan, but I don't see it as a crazy take. Kim is one of those songs from Eminem, and for very good reason. Come on, it's Kim. I tapped into it and I just did not like it. It's not an easy listen at all. And it's not a song that I go back to quite often. It's still not an easy listen till this day, but I can respect the elite storytelling on that song. And I can see why you would view it in that ilk. It is one of Eminem's best storytelling rap songs of all time, or storytelling songs of all time. Why am I saying rap songs? But yeah, it's definitely one of Eminem's best storytelling songs. I personally even have, and this is my hot take, I've said this I think a couple times now on this channel, that Stay Wide Awake and My Darling are better than Stan. I think Stan is Eminem's 3rd best storytelling rap song of all time. So to say that Kim is better, I'm not mad at that take. I don't agree with it, but I'm not mad at it. I'm definitely not mad at it. And then now the last one we have here is that 808s is Kanye's best project by far. I have 2 points here. If you just said 808s is Kanye's best project, I would have agreed with you. Well, not agreed, so sorry. I would not agree with you, but I wouldn't have found it as a hot take. But the by far, it's just where, come on, man. Dark Fantasy, Late Rage, College Dropout, yeah. But 808s for me would be around his probably 6th or 7th best project for me. He has the greatest discography in rap music. But if you had just said best, I would have not be even mad at it. Definitely wouldn't be mad at that take. But by far, it's just where I would cancel that out. But it's not really a hot take, and it is his most influential project, if not one of the most influential, because College Dropout is also in the conversation of one of the most influential Kanye projects, and Yeezus as well. But 808 is definitely his most influential, and it's a special album for sure. But to say by far is just where I would definitely, yeah, I would not say by far. But yeah, I think that brings us to the end of the video. I should definitely do more of these. There's definitely going to be a part 2, part 3, part 4. But yeah, comment down below of some hot takes or some questions that you have for me, and we'll definitely do a part 2. And I'll try to make part 2 a lot sooner than this one, because this one was long overdue. But in saying that, guys, really appreciate the support. Like, share, and subscribe. And peace.